Now, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, claimed today that Donald Trump has not called him, not even left a voicemail. He also said Americans should be alarmed that a president deploying Marines onto our streets doesn't even know who he's talking to. That's what Newsom claimed. That prompted Donald Trump to show the receipts.
He said the first call to Gavin Newsom was not picked up. The second call Gavin picked up. We spoke for 16 minutes. I told him to essentially, quote, and this is quoting the president, get his ass in gear and stop the riots, which were out of control more than anything else. This shows what a liar he is. Said I never called. So here is the evidence. And here is the call log that the president sent me from his phone. This was June the 7th.
Oh, there's so much to unpack there, but let's start off with, how does the governor forget a 16-minute phone call with the president?
Oh, look, he's got selective memory. It's just ridiculous. And what disgusts me more about Gavin Newsom, he is such a liar. Today I watched that speech that he tried to put out, but there were so many technical difficulties. He said that Trump was holding a military parade for his birthday on June the 14th. Absolutely, so deceptive. It's the US Army's 250th birthday on June the 15th. It's also Flag Day that has been celebrated since 1777. I can't believe that Newsom gets away with this. He's a deceptive liar trying to damage Trump, and this has to be called out consistently.
Oh, absolutely. And I think a lot of people see this as a big win for Gavin Newsom, that all the lefties in California are going to band around backing him, and he'll again be the favourite to be the next Democrat presidential candidate. But I can't see how he's going to win holding these positions. He is just going radically left again after showing signs of moderating. Now, played earlier Maxine Waters, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, claiming that there is no violence or lawlessness during these protests.
Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence. I was on the street. I know. Get it straight. And don't just rely on what you're being told or the few incidents that you saw. There was no violence.
Of course, the footage of what's really happening has been superimposed behind her there. But what do you make of how the Democrats have responded to these riots? She's a veteran congresswoman, and she's not alone in trying to deny the violence and just standing with these rioters.
Look, they're delusional. And I think going back to the Black Lives Matter movement and the George Floyd, I think they think it worked for them then when there was such an anti-Trump feelings. It's not working now. People are waking up to it. They don't want violence in their cities. And to be, the normal American just looks at them, scratches their head, think, what are you going on about? Turn the television on, look at the vision. It's absolutely insane that they continue to say that these are peaceful protests. It's unbelievable, Rita.
Well, we know they're not peaceful because even the Democrat mayor of LA has now instituted a curfew. So they don't do that lightly, but she said that there's just so much violence and lawlessness, so many shops being looted, so much damage being done to property that she's had to take this action. Now, earlier today, President Donald Trump...
Rita, it's a shame it took her 5 days to instill that though.
Well, exactly, because she was amongst the head in the sand crew in claiming that, there was nothing to see here and Donald Trump was overreacting, calling the National Guard in. Now, President Trump announced earlier today that he will restore the names of Fort Robert E. Lee and 6 other military bases that honour Confederate war leaders.
For a little breaking news, we are also going to be restoring the names to Fort Pickett, Fort Hood, Fort Gordon, Fort Rucker, Fort Polk, Fort A.P. Hill, and Fort Robert E. Lee. We won a lot of battles out of those forts. It's no time to change.
Tina, Joe Biden renamed those bases honouring the Confederates back in 2023. The nation's largest base, Bragg, was briefly known as Fort Liberty, but all that is over, Tina.
Yeah, and I think look, it's a great thing to do, as I said, particularly on the 250th anniversary of the US Army, to honour these legends that the military have a great respect for, and were absolutely disgusted when Joe Biden did what he did and renamed them.
Well, the military has really been boosted under Donald Trump, hasn't it? We've seen record recruitment numbers. We're hearing morale is high again. And there's just been such a dramatic shift in the culture of the place.
There's now a great respect for the military, and you've got Pete Hesketh doing a fabulous job. And, you know, people are proud now to join a force that they see is honourable and doing the right thing. And you know, not you don't have to be some sort of DEI program to further your career in the army. They see it as a legitimate career move. So it's a good thing, Rita. It's great to see. I wish it would happen in Australia, quite frankly.
Absolutely. Return meritocracy to the military. Now, there has been some disquiet from elements of the Trump base about the lack of arrests by the FBI. Some criticism of Kash Patel. Here is Kash Patel, the FBI director, explaining what his team is finding and what they're doing.
When I first got to the Bureau, found a room that Comey and others hid from the world in the Hoover building, full of documents and computer hard drives that no one had ever seen or heard of. Locked the key and hid access and just said, no one's ever going to find this place.
What?
Yeah. So my guys are going through that right now.
What's in there?
A lot of stuff. I mean, that's the thing. People are like, well, okay, go arrest him. And I'm like, okay, well, how about you let me run a methodical investigation?
This is going to take time, Tina, and that's if they find evidence of criminality. You would think whoever's been guilty there has had plenty of time to destroy the evidence. They knew there was going to be a change in administration. Are we going to see those arrests that so many in the base are wanting to see?
Look, I think you will, but as you said, it takes time, and it's great to see such transparency and such honesty from the government. But it will take time, but I think, yeah, Kash Patel, he's not going to muck around, Rita, not at all.
No, I don't think he will. Before you go, I've played examples of the American media doing its best to paint these violent protests as mostly peaceful, just like they did with BLM and Antifa. They're blaming the administration for the violence that's happening. And one man who would ordinarily be doing that, but he's not at the moment, Tina, because he's been suspended by his employer. That's ABC's Terry Moran. He was suspended after this bizarre tirade against President Trump and Stephen Miller. Part of it, I'll just read you a little bit of it because it went on for some time. He said, "It's not brains, it's bile. Miller is a man who is richly endowed with a capacity for hatred. He's a world-class hater." And he also said, "You can see this just by looking at him because you can see that his hatreds are his spiritual nourishment. He eats his hate." I mean, the whole thing was crazy.
Yeah.
And now there's reports coming out of the ABC that his colleagues, at least some of them who are talking to the New York Post, are saying they want to see him sacked. They don't want to just see a suspension because it makes all of them look terrible.
Well, not only that, it's cost ABC millions of dollars. So presenters are now going to tread more carefully regarding Trump. They don't want to cost their jobs and television stations any more money. But yeah, I think they are calling for his sack, and hopefully he will be sacked and taught a lesson.
And it was only a few weeks ago that he got a one-on-one interview with Donald Trump. So how quickly things change. Tina McQueen, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thanks, Rita.